Do you know who I am? Tash is no longer here. Could I be the imposter? This week, we are reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, so do the intro. Alright guys, as I mentioned earlier, this week we are talking about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. This baby is huge, and let me talk to you about how heavy it is. But gaming on it, wow, amazing. So I can already see that you can already game on this. Let's talk about the specs of the device. First of all, I'd really like to highlight that this one runs on the Snapdragon 865 Plus, which is currently the best chip on the market. Now, when you couple that with around 8GB of RAM, dang son, that's some beefy specs which you can run any game on. Also, in terms of memory, you're gonna have a lot for this. You have about 1 to 8GB or 256GB of internal storage, up to 512GB of storage. Dang son, what you gonna do with all that storage? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this tab can also be used somewhat like a laptop, so you can actually connect it to this casing and just connect it to the keyboard, and it also comes with a mouse, which is really cool. So who needs a laptop when you can have a tab/laptop? 2 for 1! Now let's talk about performance. Let's talk about how it feels to game on a Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Now this tab is huge. Usually when you game on phones, it just kind of like fits in the palm of your hand like this and is very comfortable to hold. But not for the Tab S7 Plus, because it measures at 12.4 inches. So this is huge. You can see how big it is. It's actually like a mini laptop in itself. Okay, now let's talk about the display. As usual for all Samsung devices, it's always on Super AMOLED display, so you know you're gonna get really crisp, beautiful, bright graphics, which is great for me because I love playing games like, you guessed it, Genshin Impact. So this game is great because when I'm not on PC, I love going to my bed and just lying in bed and playing with it, which is great for the tab, because when I'm playing it on the phone, it's not really that fun to me because it's such a tiny screen and I can barely see things. Speaking of the screen, you know how I always talk about the glidiness of a display. So usually that is what I like to measure in terms of comfort when it comes to gaming on a mobile device. So the screen for the Tab S7 Plus is unfortunately not as glidey as most of the other phones that I've reviewed, because the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus actually wants to emulate a sort of paper-like feel when you use the stylus on the screen. It's great for those who love traditional art or are just moving from traditional to digital, because you know, it just really feels like drawing on a piece of paper. But for those who actually use the touchscreen with their fingers for gaming, it's just not that great. So don't let me... Oh my god!
Stop. Chill out for a second. And... Okay, go.
Wait, I'm chewing boba. Oh my god, can you like chew faster, girl, please? Okay, I just like swallowed the balls. But don't let what I said deter you from actually trying out the tab for yourself, because it comes down to personal preference. So, as I said before, the screen is absolutely huge, measuring at 12.4 inches. So this makes for like almost triple or twice the size of a usual phone, which means games like Genshin Impact or even Mobile Legends Bang Bang, you get to see more and it makes the game a lot more immersive. Now, for games such as FPS shooters, such as Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile, I do recommend you guys actually lowering the FOV, because it's a lot more space to cover because it's such a big display, which means aiming takes a little bit more time for you to do unless you increase the sensitivity of your joysticks. So if you guys are like me and you guys don't really enjoy mobile gaming on a big display because your hands are too small to reach all the buttons, it's actually really nice to use a Bluetooth controller with the tab as well, which I actually tried. Definitely 100% recommend. So for you guys who are wondering if you can actually game with the keyboard, yes, you can. For games such as Asphalt 9, if you connect a keyboard to your device, it actually prompts you to actually choose whether you want to have a keyboard input for the game or if you still want to use the touch screen. Okay, now let's talk about heat. So for this device, gaming any game on it on highest FPS possible, highest settings possible, yes, I kicked it all the way up, it yields no heat, not even just any warmth. It's just generally such a cool device. I guess because it's such a big device, which means that the heat dissipation is a lot better. Now let's talk about battery. This device comes with a whopping 10,900 milliamp battery. Yes, that's a lot of battery. I don't blame them though, because this is a huge display. For 1 hour of gaming on highest FPS, highest graphics, highest everything, it only drained 18% of battery. Now, in terms of charging, I didn't use the charger from the box itself. I actually have a 45-watt fast charger, and to get from 0% to 100% took less than 2 hours. That's really, really fast, because don't forget, this charger does support 45-watt fast charging. Now, last but definitely not least, let's talk about the speakers. The speakers on this tab is phenomenal. I was actually shook at how great the speakers were. The speakers had great loud sound, it had a nice body, and it also is a stereo speaker. You have speakers on both sides, which means for games such as PUBG Mobile or Call of Duty Mobile, it's actually not bad. I don't have to rely too much on the in-game visual cues because the speaker itself was really great. Of course, for more immersive gaming, I do still recommend headphones, but without them, it's just fine. Okay, so the golden question of the day, which I already answered at the beginning. Can you game on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus? Heck yeah, you can! And it's such an amazing experience gaming on it if you can afford it, because the price is actually quite steep, around 5,000 plus Malaysian ringgit. You can check the prices for other countries in their respective Samsung websites. So that's all for this week. Make sure to subscribe to us on all our social media channels: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything else in between. And make sure to go to our website for the latest gaming news in Southeast Asia. I'm Natasha, and I have to carry some weights so I can continue gaming on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. 1, 2, 3.